All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I'm going to welcome you all back, and we are about ready to get started with our morning analysis, so let's go ahead and do that. So let's go start with the euro dollar. As I mentioned to you guys just a bit ago, I did short a little bit of euro. The reason why is the euro dollar, in my opinion, is back at, well, it's back at its 38% retracement first and foremost. You can see it right here. So high to low, 38% retracement. Also resistance. This is, as far as I'm concerned, it's still shaping or reshaping what could potentially be a head and shoulder pattern. You know, shoulder, head, shoulder. Okay, it just came back up to its 38% retracement. So I didn't mind shorting a little bit. I shorted a little bit at 79. Nothing super exciting, and I don't even mind if it brushes back up against 114. All right, but from here, you'll notice that 114. Whoops, not there. 114 is the 50% retracement of the drop, so that should be, you know, that should be some good resistance. You can see all the spike highs up through here. So 114 should be resistance right now for the euro. It could make its way up to 114.25, and the reason why is because you have that 618 up here. That is entirely possible with the euro. That is all dependent on U.S. data, in my opinion. Okay, so if we have, you know, weak housing data, which wouldn't surprise me in the least bit, but if we did, we could make it all the way up to 14.25. Like I said, I don't mind if it brushes up to 114. I expect it, even if it brushes up to 114.20. My position isn't big enough to where it's gonna, you know, affect me too much. I don't want it to move all the way up there, but I think it should stop short of it at 114. Okay, 114. I'll also put in 114.25 possible resistance levels, and we are in a range environment. Now support obviously is at 113. We stopped shy of 113 yesterday, but even if we do make it through 113, 112.50 is going to be major support down here. That's going to be trend line support. Here, if you go to the 4-hour chart, okay, you can see it's trend line support that comes in all the way back from August trend line. All right, that comes in at 112.50. That's going to be, in my opinion, the big nut to crack for the euro. In other words, you know, if the euro breaks through that, that's where, you know, that's where you're going to start to see a surge in the dollar, and then it'll be make it or break it time back down here. You know, then you'll start to get all the, you know, if we break through the 112.50, you're going to get all the dollar bears going, oh no, you know, and then you're going to get people getting very bullish the dollar, you know, as we approach 111. Where the rubber really makes the road is down here. But that's talking right now craziness. We're not even in that realm of prices yet. Okay, currently big support will be at 113 today. Okay, 113. That's your parameters today. I doubt we break through 113. That should be pretty good support. Let's go over to the cable. So once again, now this is why I'm short the pound, and I short yesterday, and I shorted a little bit more this morning, but the cable, here, let me remove all this. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. Drawing, remove. Okay. Let's go to the daily chart, and let's do this first and foremost. Okay. So here's the pound. That's basically what we're dealing with right now. Okay, here's the cable. You can say roughly we're right here. Struggled when we hit 55. Struggle at 55 again. Struggle at 55 again. We're leaving some very long wicks. You see them, real long wicks. Now, I don't want to get too excited about the cable, but what I will tell you is the pound isn't going up. It isn't going up as the euro dollar went up. Okay, so let me say that again. The euro dollar went up basically 80 pips from yesterday. Pound, not so much. So if the euro starts to pull back, I would think I would think you would expect if the euro started to give up some of those gains, I would expect that the pound probably comes back down under pressure. Okay, but right now this support obviously is going to be really key right here. This trend line should hold, but you know, again, if the euro comes under pressure, this 154.15, I think 15 is the low. 14.14, yeah, 154.14, so 154.15. This is key support today. Because if that breaks, you're going to get anybody who's long the pound going, oh, it didn't break out. Okay. Flip side is 155.20. I'm sorry, 155.10. 155.07 over here, 155.05 overnight, so 155.10 is key resistance. If that breaks, it's going to squeeze. As I told you yesterday, it's the same thing. It's like, all right, well, if it gets above 155.20 or so, it's going to start really squeezing. All right, but we're still in a range, regardless. Let's go on the Swissy. So the Swissy pulled back overnight. Okay, Swissy pulled back to and towards its 618 retracement. So if you go from the low to the high, you have your 618 retracement that's down here. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. And we got stopped right here. So obviously, I'll give you the obviously, that's key resistance for bulls. So support is right here at 94.80. Resistance is at 95.85. So 94.80, and this is really critical support, by the way. It's 618 retracement, and resistance is at 0.9585, and we are, it's again in a range. You know, if you're looking at the Swissy right now, I mean, I'm long, but again, the whole reason why I'm long is I'm short. I view it more as a short Swiss trade, but I'm still underwater in the dollar Swiss. And if you want to play the dollar Swiss, the risk is that stocks come under pressure. That this will give way. All right. But if you, from a risk reward standpoint, if you want to buy it here, your risk is below really like 94.70. You know, the closer you can get down to 94.80, the better off you're going to be if you want to be on the long side. Okay. Let's go over to the dollar yen. So the dollar yen, this has surprised me, and I know I said a little bit earlier. It surprised me because I'm trying to figure out why exactly the dollar yen is so strong with stock market futures that are generally weaker overnight. Okay, maybe one of the reasons why futures have recovered, and we were down 60 just an hour ago, now we're only down 30. Maybe the dollar yen in some innate way kind of knew that they were grinding higher and then that ascending wedge that I showed you earlier. Anyway, the dollar yen, if it breaks this 119, whatever the high is here, 77, so we'll call it 80. This would be a pretty bullish breakout for the dollar yen. We have a 786 retracement that comes in right there. Let's go from the highs here just to see. See, a 38% retracement is right here where we're at. Yeah, I mean, I would think a break above 119.80 would be pretty bullish. Okay, got to watch it. We're in a bearish trend, just so you know. We're bearish ever since we broke through here. We were just range bound, then we're trying to break lower. I still think it's in a bearish trend. The only problem is that it's, it's juked a lot of people, broke through the support, broke through all that support here, probably got a lot of people short, and then it's been kind of squeezed central ever since. But if you think about equities, equities have done the same thing. Equities have been kind of grinding higher, squeezing people out of their shorts, but we're in these ascending wedges too. So it's a tough call. Support for the dollar yen be right here, the overnight low. Basically 119.40. If 119.40 breaks, then you're going to see the yen pairs roll over. I would assume that a break below 19.40 would suggest that the equity markets are rolling over as well. That would be my best guess. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the Canadian. So the dollar Canadian is now starting to show some weakness, which is good because it's good and bad for me because my Canadian yen my Canadian yen short is going up, but my pound Canadian short is going down. So I'm kind of doing fine with either. It's more of a hedge to me right now. But here's the dollar Canadian. I guess I should probably delete a lot of this stuff because we had here. Let's do this. Let's remove that for a second. Let's remove that. Okay, you guys know why there's a lot of support here, and this support is huge, right through here. Okay, let me grab that yellow line. Damn it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of other stuff there. There's that horizontal support. Okay, there we go. All right. So there's the dollar Canadian. Now, excuse me. With this dollar Canadian, support now should be as we close in on this 129 level. That is going to be that trend line that comes in. 129.15 is the 618 of this whole move. That to me looks doable. 129.15. If we get down to 129.15 or 129, I might be a buyer. Okay, that's a 618 retracement. But what I'm more in tune with right now is this this upsloping trend line, and obviously that horizontal previous resistance, current support that comes in at 128.20. Remember we played off of that last week, right? If we get down here, I would not mind being, oh, you know what? I have a limit order to buy the dollar Canadian at 129.60 that I had out from yesterday. I'm actually going to change that. I changed it to 129.15. Thank God I caught that, because I had an order to buy the Canadian right here from yesterday. I put it out there yesterday because I was thinking, man, if we get a dip down here, I'd buy it. But I actually, given the fact that we came in at a lower high, I actually would think that buying it down here would be more appropriate, and that's more likely. I had an order to buy it right here. I just adjusted it, okay, to 129.15. Resistance is 130.50. And we may get some volatility here due to, obviously the elections. You might see some, maybe some position adjustments because of the Liberals winning overnight. Maybe that provokes some institutional buying of the Canadian, who knows. But whatever the reason why, we could get some Canadian strength that pushes us down here. Okay, it's possible. And like I said, I'd be a buyer down here. If we can get down here, I'd be a buyer. Maybe look for a broader, inverted head and shoulder pattern possibly, you know, but I'm not buying it because of a head and shoulder pattern. I'm really buying it because of all the support down here. That's the reason why I'm buying it. There's multiple levels of a confluence of support down here. Okay. Okay. Um, I'm cruising through these. I'm cruising through these pairs pretty quick this morning. All right, let's go over to the Kiwi. So the Kiwi dollar. You know, I looking at the Kiwi. So I'm gonna have to redraw a lot of things from yesterday. So let's go ahead and delete that. Okay. Because remember, all my drawings disappeared from yesterday, unfortunately. Okay. Upsloping trend line in the Kiwi. There's your channel. Okay. Now, this is really important to see because it's telling you that the Kiwi dollar has a lot of support as long as it's above 87.80 or 67.80, excuse me. As long as it's above 67.80, that's a lot of key support. Now, what that also suggests is if we break 67.80 today, I think you should start looking at the possibility of shorting the Kiwi against other things too, not just the Kiwi dollar. Okay. So Patrick says bull flag. No, I don't think so. This is way too long of a flag based on the distance of the pole. It's a channel. Okay. So you can't measure it as such. Okay. But I do believe that if we break through the support, that's going to expose Kiwi shorts everywhere. Okay. So, you know, that's like one of the things that I've been looking at and I'm considering is buying the Aussie New Zealand. Okay. If the Kiwi breaks through here and the Aussie's holding up, well, the Aussie New Zealand might be a good trade. You know, Kiwi breaks through here. I'm already long the pound New Zealand, but maybe adding to the pound New Zealand or maybe getting long the euro New Zealand, that's a possibility. Okay. So those are things that I would consider if the Kiwi breaks through here. Yes, Nigel, I'm still long the pound New Zealand. Mirko says, I love it when the pole gets long. I bet you do, you sick person, you. All right, 67.80 is support. Let's keep this a PG webinar, please. PG 67.80. That's really key support. Okay. So resistance. Hold on one second. Okay. And by the way, I think the Kiwi's upside is limited from here. The reason why I say that is because give you my whole spiel from last Thursday or Friday about how I think these commodity currencies are a little overdone. Okay, but I don't have to do that. You guys already know that. So your 50% retracement comes in here and at 69.15, but that it actually might be a little bit lower. So if you go over to, let's go over to the New Zealand US dollar here. Yeah, it depends what data you're using, so that's why I'm using this other chart as well. 38% right here. You know what I need to do? I'm sorry, I'm going to make an adjustment right now. It's been really annoying me recently. I'm going to make these colors a little darker. And the reason why is because it's that'll work. Okay. So 38% retracement right here. I have to really adjust these colors. I don't really like them the way that I have them. So you have 38% retracement here from high to low. You're at 127% extension as well. Really kind of struggling up here. So anyway, with that being said, uh, I think the Kiwi will probably fall short, at least if not at 68.50, at 68.70. So I'll give it up to 68.70, but just note that we're coming up to the 618. So 68.70, 68.870. Okay. We're in a range. Let's go over to the Aussie. Club Metro says, just deal with it, Blake. You have the pervious listening fan base. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I do have the most amount of perverts listening to this webinar, and I think it's because of my Barry Manilow voice, because even my deep voice turns men on. That's right. I know you guys don't want to admit it, but it does. Yeah, go ahead. Admit it, freaks. Yeah, it's okay. I just had people go barf. All right, anyway. Okay, so here's the Aussie. So I was looking at the Aussie a little earlier. Let's go over to the 4-hour chart. It's Tuesday Freak Show. That's right. Tuesday, turn around Tuesday Freak Show. The Aussie may really be developing a triangle here, and that I think is very appropriate right now. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, what that also means is we could get a little lift here, and then you have to think, okay, well, if we get a like, let's just imagine the Aussie, people get long here. See a double top here, double bottom, excuse me. They get long. Be careful, because if we're developing some sort of triangle, we might actually get stopped short. Everybody will see this double bottom, get long, expect to move back to 74 cents, and then hits here and then just reverses. So I'm going to say before you get suckered into a double bottom long, be very careful of Sydney says, thank you, Blake man, ALO. Yeah, I know why you guys listen in. Crazy people. That trend line comes in like that. So let's watch 73.30, 73.35, which will be the 78% retracement. That's going to be really key today, okay? Especially if we get some dollar weakness. 78, or 78, what the hell am I talking about? 73.35, 73.35, okay? So resistance. Support will be really critical here, because that's that double bottom right now. That's at 72.40, okay? That's support. 72.40. We're in a range. Okay, so when I come back, we'll do the dollar index. We'll take a look at the peso, Swedish krona, all that stuff. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a few moments. See you guys. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. So let's finish up with the dollar index. Okay, let's go there. So here's the dollar index, and I don't know what that crap is. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. So here's the dollar, and you know, we discussed the dollar yesterday, and we are coming right back down towards support here. I'm assuming that we're going to have a lot of support through this 94, probably all the way through here. You can see all these spikes through here. I'd like to figure out exactly where that would be. So the 38% retracement for the dollar comes in at 94.60. 95 still is key resistance. So 94.60 is going to be support for the dollar index. 94.60 and 95 will be key resistance now. Okay, and we are definitely in a range. But if you look at the dollar as a whole, I mean, the dollar is just extremely choppy. Let me get rid of this really quick. I mean, here's the dollar index. This is what we look like on a daily chart. Very, very messy at this stage in the game. All right. So we're seeing, you know, obviously some selling pressure coming in today after a couple of days off the lows. But I think overall, you just gotta, you know, just kind of play this range. So any move down to like 94.60, we might find some support. Being the 38% retracement, a lot of spike lows down here. Really key resistance is at 95. Let's go take a look at the peso. See what the peso is up to. So, I don't know if there's anything to really do with the peso right at this moment in time. I'm trying to grab the end of this. I think if it gets down to like, you know, this 1635, that might be a decent place to trade the peso. To the long side, I don't know. It's a tough call for right now. I think there's a lot of support down here, but you probably want to be a little closer to support before being on the long side. Also, keep in mind that this has to do more with it also has a lot to do with risk aversion and risk appetite. So as the stock market's bouncing back, you can see that the peso is strengthening, or the dollar Mexican peso is falling a little bit. Should the market turn around and head lower, then the dollar peso will probably reverse and head higher. Okay, but not a lot to do at the moment. Let's go over to the US dollar Norwegian krona. Nothing going on. Absolutely nothing going on. Let's go to the Swedish krona. So the U.S. dollar Swedish krona had a great rejection off the lows. Blogged about that on Friday. I don't know if you really want to be long up here, but any dip down, maybe to like 820, might give you a good place to be on the long side. Looks like that's sticky resistance. Now keep your eye on the Swedish krona, because if you know, like I had mentioned on Friday, and in the blog post that I put, if the U.S. dollar Swedish krona starts to break higher, that suggests to me that the dollar is probably going to start to strengthen against other currencies too. It tends to be a lead currency, so I'm gonna mark it down just to watch it. I know some of you guys trade it, so I'm actually excited to go to gain capital trading wise, because from what I understand, this will be one of the currencies that I'll be able to trade again, which I do miss trading the US dollar, Swedish krona. It's a fun currency to trade. So 833 supports down at 808. Just keep an eye on it. $8.08, 8.3300, and I'll put an asterisk next to that, and we are in a range, but if we can break that, then that might be the cue that more dollar strength is coming into the market. Okay. Okay. So your bias chart is ready. Here it is, and let's go into some of your questions.